Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a really profound idea from the 13th century philosopher Sadr Qunawi. This idea that the perfect human a society looks up to can actually shape its entire destiny.
So let's kick things off with a huge question. When you think about what really makes a civilization great, what's the single most important element? Is it the massive buildings, the military power, the economic might?
Well, the source we're digging into today makes a powerful case that it's something else entirely. It says the most crucial factor of all is the type of person a society holds up as its ideal. That human model, whether people realize it or not, ends up shaping everything.
So here's our game plan. We're going to break this down into 5 parts. We'll start with the power of a human ideal, look at 2 competing models, dive deep into Qunawi's amazing vision, and then we'll wrap up by thinking about what this all means for us today. All right, first up, let's really get into why this whole concept of an ideal human has such a massive impact on a society.
You know, every single culture has this vision of its best self. It's an exemplary figure who embodies its highest values, its biggest dreams. You might hear phrases like the superior man or Nietzsche's Übermensch. Well, in the Islamic tradition we're exploring, this concept is called al-kamil, which translates to the perfect or complete human.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The source we're looking at says that throughout all of history, 2 fundamentally different, almost opposite models of this ideal person have been competing with each other.
Okay, so check this out. On one side, you've got the value human. This person sees the world as a reflection of a divine creator. Their sense of right and wrong comes from something higher, and their main goal is to live in harmony with nature and work on their inner spiritual self. And then you've got the material human. This ideal sees the world as a reflection of their own power. Morality is just about what's useful. Nature is just a resource to be dominated. And the ultimate goal? To become godlike in your own power and strength.
Let's get to the absolute heart of it now and really look at how Sadr Qunawi defined his ideal, the al-kamil. And yeah, we're about to get into some deep but totally fascinating philosophy here.
So to really get Qunawi, we first have to wrap our heads around this core concept he shared with his mentor, the famous Ibn al-Arabi. It's called Wadati Wujud, or the unity of being. The basic idea is that all of reality, every star, every rock, every single living thing, it's all fundamentally one. It's all a single unified existence that's just expressing the attributes of God.
These thinkers use this really beautiful metaphor to explain it. Imagine that the entire universe was created like a giant, perfectly made mirror. But when it's first made, it's just an object, right? It's a soulless body, an unpolished surface.
Now, this cosmic mirror has the potential to reflect all of the divine attributes, perfect goodness, beauty, mercy, all of it. But on its own, it's just that, potential. It's lifeless. It can't really reflect anything.
And this is the brilliant part that explains humanity's special role. The perfect human, the al-kamil, is both the soul that brings that mirror to life and the final polish that makes it reflect that divine light perfectly. So the main point here is key. For Qunawi, becoming the perfect human has nothing to do with gaining power or becoming your own god. It's about becoming so pure, so transparent, that those divine qualities, goodness, beauty, mercy, can shine right through you with no distortion. You literally become a flawless mirror.
Okay, so what happens when a whole society decides to chase one of these ideals over the other? What's the actual real-world impact on how people live?
And wow, this slide just lays out how incredibly different those 2 societies would be. A civilization built around the value human, justice would be about mercy and fairness. Peace would come from harmony. Nature is seen as something sacred that you have to care for. But flip that. In the civilization of the material human, justice is just whatever the powerful say it is. Peace is just the quiet time between wars for dominance. Nature is a resource to be conquered. And the economy is just a ruthless competition for profit.
So, following this logic, the source argues that when a society truly valued this ideal of the al-kamil, of seeing the creator in all of creation, it created a culture of deep respect, of tolerance, and of stewardship. This ideal, it suggests, was the foundation for a civilization known for peace, justice, and mercy.
All right, let's bring this all into the modern day for our final section. Which one of these models does our global civilization really seem to be following right now?
Well, the source argues that, by and large, our modern world has chosen the material human. This is the ideal you see in concepts like Nietzsche's Übermensch, the individual who creates their own values through sheer willpower, who is beyond traditional morality. And the result? A culture that's in a state of constant struggle against other people, against nature, and against any limits on the self.
But, this point of view isn't without its critics, even in the West. The philosopher William James, for instance, wondered if a society built on pure aggression could even last. He argued it would just tear itself apart. The highest conceivable society, he believed, would actually be a community of saints, people whose ideal is based on sympathy and integrity.
So the crucial takeaway the source leaves us with is this: the ideal human we choose to chase has huge long-term consequences. A path that's defined by a non-stop struggle for dominance over other people, over the natural world, is, in this view, leading humanity toward a very uncertain future. And that leaves us with a final, really vital question to think about. When you just look at our world, at the drive for endless consumption, at a social media culture that rewards self-promotion, at environmental crises born from wanting to dominate nature, which ideal do you see being celebrated? Is it the forceful, material human creating their own reality? Or can you still see glimpses of the value human, that polished mirror reflecting something greater? And maybe the most important question of all is, where is our choice ultimately taking us?